All right, so here we are live, formally and recording. Allow me to welcome Abhay Gupta, Parinita Sethi, Dr. Geeta Krishnan, and Nilofar Karimboy. She's going to join us in possibly a few seconds. Uh, I think it's a great day that we actually stepping out as International Ayurveda Alliance, which is initiated by my think tank, Big in India think tank. So quickly giving you, an overview in less than 2 or 3 sentences and not wasting too much of time. We wish to preserve the heritage of the country in terms of Ayurveda. There is so much being said and done abroad. People are patenting things that we've been using for thousands of years. There have been instances where people have patented basmati to turmeric and everything else in between. Now we wish to take that back. It belongs to us. It originated here. And if we can actually do some good business, and with the present government's global outreach, since it's taken power, the new dispensation since 2014, we see a very concerted effort from the government of India to actually go out to other countries and engage with them politically, diplomatically, and towards business financially. And I think it is time that our industry also, when I say our industry, the Ayurveda industry, goes out. And there are three different tracks that we've developed after extensive research. One is Ayurlux, which we are a part of today in that series. So it says very clearly defines that Ayurveda and luxury, coupling together and moving forward. Then there is Ayur Invest, in which Ayurveda and investors come in. And then there is Ayur Tech, Ayurveda and technology. Now, technology could be in how you deliver the products with artificial intelligence and all that, and it will also be in the aspect of doing clinical trials and doing all those things. Under which we are talking to at least 3 state governments to set up centers of excellence in Ayurveda. I think it's a work in progress, and hopefully, if God is kind, maybe in a couple of months, by the end of summers, we would have something good to share on that part. So, with that background, today's discussion is more on how Ayurveda and luxury can go forward together and do wonderful things. Yet the biggest concern we wish to put forth is that the tenets of Ayurveda need to be followed the way they should be followed. There are a lot of people who do business in the name of Ayurveda, and there are so many things. Each one of us knows it. So I think I'll start with Dr. Geeta Krishnan. And Dr. Krishnan, I would want to get your views on what you've seen globally. There's quite a lot of businesses who've gone out and done business in Ayurveda. And how do you look at what has been lost in terms of the purity of Ayurveda? Please.
Right. Thanks, Deepak, for inviting for this wonderful discussion. It is really very kind of you to have given that introduction of me. To introduce myself, I am an Ayurvedic doctor. I started about maybe around 25 years before as my practice, but then I did a lot of clinical research and worked in basic research programs with CSIR and other organizations. Also had developed some drugs and then patented them and all those things, and try to I headed some of the best facilities in the country as far as clinical medicine is concerned. I was head of the Medanda's integrative medicine program for 10 years. I developed that, and then I moved on to WHO. I work with WHO now. So as a WHO employee, I have a lot of bindings on making statements in a public forum and in any private forums which could be utilized as a what's it called as the opinion of WHO. So first of all, let me make, even if I make something which is probably because it's not thought about talk, I would like to say that whatever I am saying here is my own opinion. I don't know, it is not related to WHO. So that should be very clear. Second, this is a wonderful idea which Deepak has put together of bringing or not clarifying the importance of Ayurveda in the area of luxury. So that's something which I understand is sometimes right now is working at the periphery. But I think in future there is a lot of opportunity which I see as luxury itself is going to be redefined. I think luxury will move out from what is being called as or it will still always remain in some part as something like looking good, feeling good, etc., for momentary benefits. But I think the people who really have money and who really can afford it are have already moved out of it. They are actually moving towards the meaning of life and understanding life more better, giving experiences, etc., etc. So it's already moved on. Like India probably is catching up, but that is where we are going forward. So Ayurveda in that area also has a lot of things to do. For example, one of the biggest luxuries humans can ever have is extended healthy life. Like I at the age of 50 and somebody at the age of 30 might see life at totally different dimensions. Like our dimensions and understanding of life is very different. Somebody who is at the age of 70 is not extra 20 years that he has or she has. It is an exponentially added 20 years, and its value goes up exponentially. It is not a linear equation. It is actually a logarithmic equation which happens as you age, if you are able to live healthy. So that is where Ayurveda comes. Like it talks about human lifespan at 120 years. Like, and it talks much before the Harvard study saying that when old age starts at the age of 72. Ayurveda says that the human old age starts at 72. Charaka Samhita says so. Like it is almost 1000 BC. Like the available written document on Charaka Samhita is about 1000 BC. So you can imagine it was there much before that. So the understanding of life itself will change. Understanding of luxury itself will change. And if you want to place and utilize that in appropriate manner, probably Ayurveda is a great tool and for luxurious living, in the sense of starting with well-being to increased lifespan and experiences of life. With this, I would really like equate it to like the when you say human lifespan at 120, it is not something which is impossible to think about, because the largest research fund as on today which is available and waiting for different research projects is a 3 billion fund on human lifespan. It is not something like a small amount. Like we are talking about, this is real investments and real work which is going to happen. And if you want connecting the technology which is available right now, connecting the information that is right now available, and creating a goal which can also be supported by weather, will actually bring out several outputs out of it, which is products, products or services. Which, when I say product, I mean it could be service also, which can have humongous value in the luxury market. In fact, there are several of which we can talk very specifically about. But I think Deepak ji wanted me to give an introduction. So, or rather, this is my thought as far as luxury and Ayurveda and the future of Ayurveda and luxury is concerned. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I think you've given us a lot of valuable inputs and thoughts beyond what we thought we would discuss. And I think I would want to take it forward, maybe today, maybe another day as well. But we've noted those things. I want to come to Abhay. Now, Abhay, from being one of the pioneers of the Indian luxury industry, practitioners of Indian luxury industry, and then moving on to academics and having your own business school for luxury, how do you academically and really, both look at this opportunity wherein Ayurveda and luxury might come together, and what do you see, as a market potential for this combination globally?
So, thank you very much, Deepak. Pleasure to meet all the esteemed panelists here. And what Dr. Geeta said was really wonderful. I mean, I don't have as much deep insights of Ayurveda as a subject, but then as a branding professional, I can only say is that my understanding goes back to the fact that the origin of Ayurveda goes into the origin of ancient India, and it is part of the wellness industry per se. And the wellness industry, we go into Ramayana. I mean, we have Hanuman picking up the entire mountain. It is all linked to mythology, but it's also linked to the fact that they were able to treat Lakshman only because of the science of Ayurveda, and not being able to recognize the right herb led to lifting of the entire mountain. So that brings us to the fact that it is a science which is deeply integrated, and the challenge is really to find true practitioners versus pseudo practitioners, which has become the norm of the day. So the core essence of luxury per se, from a consumption perspective, really means that when you derive true value with authentic deliverables in a highly comfortable environment, then it becomes any product becomes luxury. And essentially, the luxury is the product is centered around art and craft and something which is sustainable. So from those perspectives and those definitions, Ayurveda falls squarely into the center of it. That, as I said, if we are able to differentiate between pseudo Ayurveda and true Ayurveda, then true Ayurveda falls plumb into the center because it is sustainable, it is natural, it is organic, it gives a great amount of comfort and wellness to the consumers, and it is handcrafted in the sense that everyone has his own methodology in terms of curating the remedies and delivering the value, which could be delivered through massages or delivered through handmade medicinal herbs. So from that perspective, all the elements of defining it as luxury are very much there. Coming to the perspective of can it be branded luxury? Yes, it surely can be branded luxury. And as I think in your opening statement, you made a remark that India has lost the race when it comes to branding. We did not brand our turmeric, we did not brand our rice, we did not brand our country. So, I would say that in the current government's tenure, in the past 6, 7, 8 years, since 2014, the brand India has begun to emerge, and there's a great amount of respectability attached to the brand, and respectability to yoga, which is part of the Ayurveda culture. So I believe that with proper branding and authentic communications, as well as authentic intention of delivering the true value, definitely India can take the lead in branding Ayurveda, because the world looks up to India when it comes to naturopathy, it comes to medicinal solutions, it comes to wellness, besides just the spa industry. So spa is a small part of the wellness industry. So definitely Ayurveda has a great potential, and if it is harnessed well and it is directed well, I believe International Ayurveda Day is not very far following International Yoga Day.
I think it already exists. Dr. Geeta has
Okay,
been very involved with the Ayurveda Global Ayurveda Congress. Dr. Geeta, would you want to say something on this, on the International Ayurveda Day and the International Congress that you've been so closely involved with?
Yeah, like I think International Ayurveda Day comes in the month of October, November, sir. Basically, it would be on, it falls on the day of Dhanteras, so basically 2 days before or 1 day before Diwali. So I think that will be very easy to remember for Indians at least. And June 21st is the Yoga Day. So we have been doing it across different countries now since since 2018. Since I'm associated with the government, we have been helping almost all what's it called, consulates and embassies of India to organize a Yoga Day event, and slowly we are getting that also as a part of Ayurveda Day event. So now many countries, many embassies and the consulates are helping us to organize specific Ayurveda event on the Ayurveda Day across the globe. So last year, I think I myself had been running around or in the Zoom in about 12 meetings in the Ayurveda Day. So there are several other people working in this direction. So I think it's huge now, and people are recognizing that, and it is also very important as communication, as Abhay said. Basically, in Europe, the basic problem with Ayurveda is that it is not properly communicated to the customers. So like people do not know what Ayurveda is, and so therefore anything sells here. So whereas it's not possible in India, like there is a lot of skepticism that comes out if somebody tries to sell Ayurveda at a particular kind of Ayurveda. Like it still can be sold, but there is a lot of skepticism. But in Europe, nobody knows what Ayurveda is. So Ayurveda is sometimes seen as a massage, or Ayurveda is seen as Shirodhara. Shirodhara is Ayurveda basically for most of the people, and unfortunately in Germany, where I work quite a lot with a lot of good hospitals and universities. Some of the universities outright say we don't want to put the name of Ayurveda in our department's name. Like they say we can put Indian medicine, we can put complementary medicine, but they do not want to put Ayurveda, whether they're ready to put acupuncture there. The reason is Ayurveda is being practiced in in every single massage parlor, and now it has come to a place where like wherever somebody is getting a haircut, you can get an Ayurvedic Shirodhara. That's a way in which it has moved out. So people are like we need to. It is quite complex. It is not so simple that we can simply one day ask the entire European Union to make a ban on it. Neither can we ask it to regulate it. So it's a slow, structured development process. I think it will take very
Geeta, I
intense
think
activity.
I totally agree with you and with Abhay also. And with just a little small intervention, I want to take it to Nilofar after this. I've spent almost 22 years in the call center business, and I also founded the Call Center Association of India. So I know exactly what you're talking in terms of branding. And I think the quick fix is not to talk to them and get acceptance, but to have such a mass awareness that irrespective of what anybody says or does, people know the truth. And that is where I started by saying and informally writing that the tenets of Ayurveda need to be followed as a purest form in the amalgamation of Ayurveda and luxury. And coming to Nilofar, since you represent Shanaz Herbals, I think it's one of the most known names. And I think it would not be wrong to say that herbal and Ayurveda, they're so complex they could be first cousins, if I may loosely say so, because everything is derived from plants. So the form of delivery and the form of knowledge may be a little different, which I'm not an expert of. So I would not comment too much on. But how do you look at from? I would want you to comment from your personal experience of having exported so much, having dealt with so many different countries and different kind of clientele and audience.
Thank you, Deepak, for having me on this panel. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to hear the different people come up with their perspectives. I've been basically involved with Ayurveda and Shehnaz Herbal since the age of about 11, filling bottles with my mother, and then working through every stage till today. And yes, I think at that point my mother brought Ayurveda out to the world, and we have today about 250 products that we are selling, just showing to the others also that there is a huge market and a huge desire for this kind of medicine. Now, when you ask about what international markets think, I think, we haven't done enough as an industry to enter the international market. Shehnaz Herbal's biggest market after India, surprisingly, has been the exacting market of Japan. Strangely, wherever industrialization has reached a zenith, modernization has reached a zenith, there is a desire to go back to the ancient. And Ayurveda has a huge potential there. Of course, it's selling very well in the Middle East, and with the whole world getting so democratized with the internet, it is selling all over. But I really feel that yoga had made a breakthrough, which Ayurveda has not done as yet. Yoga centers are there everywhere in the US. If you talk about yoga, people know. And somehow I feel that if Ayurveda could go on the steps of yoga, it would be very nice. That would be very, very good. And that is what is required. Um, I don't know if you want me to go further on this, but I do think that India itself, I think Ayurveda has a huge potential to offer, to bring tourists to India. I think not only taking the Ayurvedic product abroad, but drawing people to India to experience, to get the complete experience of Ayurveda is a very big way to introduce Ayurveda for them to take it back, because it's a holistic form of treatment. The panch karma that you have to, the 5 karmas that you have to bring into your life. There's diet, there is internal, there's external, there's meditation, there's exercise. So it's a very complete form of therapy. So the spas in India are basically offering all kinds of massages. So then how does that make us different from, say, Thailand? Today, Thailand is probably getting the biggest, one of the largest spa destinations and tourists. Their economy is surviving on spas when they don't have this ancient 3,000-year-old form of medicine that we have. And I think that's what we need to tap a lot more. I think spas should not be this and that, of trying to offer everything. I think if you go with one form of medicine and you go with your heritage, you will draw a lot of tourists to India.
Very, very well put in. I think, though the initiative says International Ayurveda Alliance, and I have to harp on the fact that, of course, this will, our entire piece will benefit the Indian industry as a whole, because, once we start to go out, then you need medicines, and that is where the manufacturing base of Indian Ayurvedic medicine, will also benefit by default. You really created I think it's a green shoot sprouted by you, and I'm thankful, and which I'm going to tell my team to add immediately, that this is actually also foreign exchange if foreign travelers come in. So thank you so much from your experience that you shared something and you added to the entire initiative. And I would want to move to Parinita. And Parinita, we've come to you last because I think in my journey from starting with Dr. Geetha and coming to you, I have a very dense load to put on your shoulders. So yeah, it was deliberate. Because I think your experience running magazines, I don't know how you want to call yourself. You're a publisher. I am absolutely sure that you do a lot of editing. I am told that you're very hands-on the quality of it, and that you also currently are very into your current magazines, one of which is Global Spa India and Middle East.
Yes.
So,
So,
yeah, of course, please carry on with the load and try to incorporate everything that everybody said, and give us an output, if I may, please.
so I've been listening to everybody, and I completely agree with one very important fact, is that Ayurveda has not been branded. Today, when you say the word Ayurveda, what comes to your mind is a massage in some small shanty place on a wooden bed and oil being poured on it. But that's not Ayurveda at all. Ayurveda is a way of life. It's not just a simple massage. You can't just go take a massage and think you've done an Ayurvedic treatment. You have to incorporate it into your life. The other important thing is that Ayurvedic medicines are somehow, people are always scared about using Ayurvedic medicines because they are not branded. They don't have the, most of them don't have the, ISO regulations. They don't follow. So you feel that there's lead in it. And also everybody has this very shady feel where Ayurveda is concerned, except where you are maybe in a 5-star hotel or something. Then also it is part of, they'll have a Swedish massage, they'll have a Balinese massage, and they will have an Ayurvedic massage. But The fact of the matter is that Ayurveda needs to be branded in the right manner because it's something that can actually change your life. But in India, we have never tried to give it that luxury brand feel. Now, even if you look at even the cities, most of the places where you have Ayurveda, they're not very luxury. You go to an Ayurvedic place, you get get oil poured over you, and you come back, with that luxury feel never comes out. So unless the government of India does what they have done to yoga, that is make it something that is very Indian, very luxury, very branded, we will never be able to reach the level that most now. When you go to a spa, the first thing that a person wants to take, okay, let me take a Swedish massage. But honestly, is the Swedish massage as therapeutic as an Ayurvedic massage? Not at all. But it's all the matter of how we have branded, how we have created that, aspirational value to Ayurveda, which I don't think we've been able to do. Even internationally, Ayurveda is not in anybody's spa menu. Very few spas across the world, or for that matter, wellness centers across the world, will have an Ayurvedic massage. But I think everybody will have a Thai massage. What is the reason for that? That's because it's all a matter of how we brand it, how we've created a perception. We have such a fantastic tradition, but not made into that perception value. So I am repeating what everybody has said, and everybody has exactly said that unless we brand Ayurveda, unless we create a perception about Ayurveda, we will still remain that, another thing that a spa can. So also in the Middle East, we've launched our global spa in the Middle East, but very few spas offer Ayurveda. I mean, it fascinates me, it surprises me that why is Ayurveda not an international thing, whereas it's actually so therapeutic, it can change your life. Not just with that one massage, not that just with that one abhyanga, but as a whole process. So unless we get that into people's minds, and unless we really work, and that is something that the stakeholders of Ayurveda, the Indian government has to work towards. So I don't know if everybody else agrees with me, but I think that we have a fantastic tradition, which we are letting go of, and we're not branding it and, spreading it to the world.
Parinita, great insights. I would like to just put in 2 points before I go back to Abhay and ask him for pure marketing opinions on what we've discussed so far. But Parinita, I think the government, I have had a tremendous amount of support from both the government and the party behind the dispensation. So that part, I think we've just come out in the open 2 to 3 weeks back, announcing who we are and what International Ayurveda Alliance is. But I've been at it for almost 2 years now in the backgrounds. We've spoken to n number of people globally. We've done our tie-ups. We've gotten support. We've spoken extensively to various arms of the government who matter. And just to put them into perspective, the Ministry of Ayush, of course, then the Ministry of Commerce, because a lot of people want to, for want of any other logical reason or pure competitive spirit, they want to brand all ancient therapies as humbug, jadi booty and all that. That is how they counter you when they have no substantial argument against it. Then this is what they do. Third, the Ministry of External Affairs, so that all the consulates, Indian consulates in various countries that we wish to target, we get the support. So we are talking extensively. We are going with a very, very sound structured plan, and we will go with a lot of strength, so that when we embark, from the first step onwards, we may not go too far, but I will ensure that the International Ayurveda Alliance, once we've taken a step, I will ensure that nobody is able to push us back. Once we travel forward, I will ensure that we go forward. And that is the reason, I'm going slow but very sure. So coming to you, Abhay.
But it's something that we have just started. It's something that, it'll take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but
Absolutely.
it has to be branded as a luxury product, as a life-saving product, as something that is going to actually change your life.
So incidentally, what you just said, I think is very. I think I would have asked the same thing of Abhay. Abhay, I think the what we see in the research suggests that, if you brand it as luxury, that is the quickest inroad into the global markets. If you brand Ayurveda with luxury than with medicine or than with the way of life, how would you attack this problem of, whatever the ills that ail the Ayurveda industry in going forward is, whatever stops us, what are the challenge? How do you attack those things as a marketer?
No, so as I said earlier, that today Ayurveda is getting confused with a lot of other, I should say, confusing directions of wellness. As the other speaker said, it gets confused with Thai massage, and Thai massage is confused with a lot of, let's say, unwanted tourism. It's not always medical tourism. So the word Ayurveda has got lost in a lot of noise made by other streams which want to take advantage of, let's say, the lack of knowledge or the ignorance around the word Ayurveda. So first and foremost is that, it's very similar to what is happening to Khadi, that the true patriots of Khadi were unable to take advantage of the brand Khadi as compared to many other commercial organizations until the Khadi department came down heavily, and then they went to court and stuff like that. So that made even Indians aware that what is the true meaning of the word Khadi. So I think out there today we have, without taking names, we know that we have a Baba presenting himself as the father of Ayurveda, and it's a pseudo Ayurveda, which is actually all chemicals made. So that has become a very large conglomerate and giving competition to international brands, so to say. But the fact remains that is it doing any service to Ayurveda? No. Is it doing service to yoga? Yes. He has brought, he's something what Jagjit Singh was to ghazals when we were young. So Jagjit Singh and Chitra Singh popularized ghazals to our generation. Prior to that, it was meant to be only Qawwalis and all that were meant for our parents. So Baba Ramdev has brought yoga into the home, every home, and people now look at yoga as something, because also I would give credit to the Prime Minister's office for that and the International Yoga Day, etc., that people have started looking at the benefits of yoga. So first and foremost, the exact science or the authentic science, as I said in my first dialogue to you, was that luxury is all about authenticity. So we first need to establish what is authentic yoga. And once we establish authentic yoga through a lot of knowledge dissemination, a lot of panel discussions around that, and somebody creates authority around the word Ayurveda and Indian Ayurveda, then is the next step of branding that is going to come forward. So just by calling ourselves luxury without actually creating the deep essence of what is a luxury brand, I think we'll get lost in the din once again. So the fact remains that a lot more work needs to be done besides just 4 or 5 of us talking around here and trying to create it as a luxury positioning. So I don't think that the product offering is clear as of now. Like all the speakers said, that globally people are confused what is Ayurveda, and they tend to get lost into various other formats of body relaxation, if I might use the term, and you get lost in that particular stream. Whereas, as Parinjita rightly said, that it's more part of the wellness industry. So it's like homeopathy. It's another stream of living a life and remaining healthy, wealthy, whatever you might call it. Yoga and spas and are part of the smaller aspect of Ayurveda, but those smaller aspects seem to be taking over the mothership. So the mothership branding will happen once we are able to actually start writing thought papers which are decipherable by the younger generation all over the world. Because hot yoga and various forms of yoga and Maharishi yoga and many yogas have been shipped from India, and a lot of people have made commercial businesses out of that, not doing any service to the actual yoga. And for me, the best story of yoga is Hanumanji lifting the entire mountain. So if a storytelling can be created around what is the benefits of yoga and how can people take advantage of converting that into a lifestyle, that has to be the starting point. And then from then onwards, branding aspect can be brought in. There is no doubt in that.
So Nilofer, coming to you, taking from what Abhay just said, there has to be a certain way of branding So
Sure.
I would want to know how you would think, how do you think, based on your experience, should we go about branding, Ayurveda as an Indian piece, as the entire industry of Ayurveda globally? One. Two, what do you think would be the first quick point of entry for a global penetration, global market penetration for Ayurveda as an industry as a whole? And three, what do you think, what are the quick pointers that you would give entrepreneurs and new companies who wish to do this, what we are just talking about, on the pitfalls and the challenges? So the three quick questions for you in the global context.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll start with your last one. As far as the new companies coming up, I think Shehnaz Herbal has been a sort of leader, in the sense that my mother was the one who broke through and thought of bringing Ayurveda, out of the shelves, branding it. And branding is so important. Today, the brand is her image, her personality, her persona, and how we present it. Initially, our packaging wasn't fabulous, but those were different days. Today, our packaging is, prime. So I am in the marketing of the company. So I do a lot of the branding. I think the way you present yourself is very important. So to the youngsters who are coming into the industry, I think just be very sincere to Ayurveda. Make sure that you do not go in the path of nature identicals, because they don't have those benefits finally, and you don't get the customer staying on with you. So I think keeping the quality of Ayurveda is very important. And your other question was, what was your other question?
Okay, so what are the, I would want to know exactly from your experience, what are the quick areas of market penetration if we were to
you
take
know,
India? Yeah.
Yes, I think what I do like your idea very much of Ayurveda getting attached to luxury. I think the time has come that it stopped being considered as something which you can, get at a small center with Panchkarma and the Dhara massage only. And the associations, like in a foreign country, it was just mentioned that it was not like, Switzerland has accepted Ayurveda, has recognized it in a very big way, and they're very, very exacting. So I think rebranding Ayurveda is very important, and taking it along with luxury would be very nice. And there have to be companies that come up that spell quality. When you asked me about youngsters, I said quality. uh, Now, if I don't want to speak about my own brand, but that's the most genuine example I can give. Shahnaz Hussain products have developed in Ayurveda a great an area where people feel confident that this is a quality product. So that aspect has to come. Now, interestingly, Shanaz Herbal makes a 24 karat gold cream in which there's a certificate of purity, which is, with the stamp of the authorities, because we buy it, officially, the gold. Then we make a diamond bhasma cream. We make a pearl cream. Happy to say that our gold cream today is the highest seller. I do a lot of research and development in the company, and happy to say that gold and pearl were my two developments. Uh, Pearl is a very good natural whitener. It retards the development, it stops the development of melanin on the skin. And so it's a misnomer that Ayurveda is inexpensive. It's available in small shops. Some of the sandalwood oils that we buy are enormously expensive. So that quality, that this oil is worth so much. We're starting a new store in Khan Market, and one of the things I'm trying to do over there is, with my products, I'm trying to put the oils and have a little education to the customer, for them to know exactly what goes into it. Because sometimes when I'm doing the shopping for the company, I'm shocked at the prices that we are paying for our ingredients. So in fact, there are two things here. They're nature identicals, and there's pure nature, and the purer nature is, the more of a luxury it is, the more expensive it is. So it actually, if it is made in its purest form, presented in its purest form, people will start valuing it, that this is a pure sandalwood oil. I mean, this is precious. This is more better than, a Pierre Cardin product for meat wear or something like that. Yeah.
So
So you
I
asked me
think
another third question. What was that?
what is the quick area of service that, or a product that Ayurveda could actually adopt to for the quickest global market adoption? What is the first things that we should start selling in the
I
global
look at
market?
Kajal as the quickest product, you said.
No, product and service, anything. Which
Any quickest product or service. If I was really going to establish Ayurveda abroad, and I had something like the I had a position in the Ayush industry ministry or something like that, I would try and hitch Ayurvedic centers onto every yoga center abroad.
okay,
They're all over the place. I think where you have your yoga clientele already, that is the place that you need to uh, get the clientele that would naturally flow into Ayurveda.
okay,
So
and then
there's a
what
huge
kind of
natural
product or
market there.
service?
Sorry?
What kind of product or service would you want to first display or move there in these places?
I've always believed in the kajal, because I've seen some horrible things happening to friends' eyes when they use a lot of chemicals abroad on their eyes. And this product is put inside the eye. It's ancient, and it's the most beautiful eye makeup. So there's just one product, but there's a host of products that could go, because um, you know um, there has to be a complete thing for one's beauty, which covers your moisturizer, your oils, and anti-aging is never goes
Like,
out of style. Yeah.
absolutely, I agree.
And services, I think still anything which is a relaxing massage, the panchkarma massage is, and the dhara massage. If anybody's had a dhara massage, it's no touch. It's just oil pouring over your forehead.
Yeah.
And it all depends on the kind of environment, the luxury that it is given in, and also the oil, the kind of oil that is being poured on you, the quality of that oil. So if we get that
Absolutely.
all together, I think it would be good.
Thank you. So, Dr. Grita Krishnan, I would want you to kind of step away from your daily 9 to 5 and reflect on something which is more towards, marketing and looking a global learning possibly, that you may have had from whatever you've done globally. How would you reflect on, things that in so far we've not discussed, like fine dining, an Ayurvedic restaurant abroad, resorts abroad, and the challenge would be to keep, the purity of Ayurveda, like everybody said it in different terms. How would you reflect on those? You've got to unmute yourself. Yeah.
So I think like it's not an area which I have been working on. So but I have seen. So I cannot reflect on my experiences there, but I can only reflect on what my thoughts were. So I agree with everyone here in the idea that branding is something which is very important. So and I would also like to say that we should, as all of the panelists reflected, that Ayurveda is a way of life. It's not one single ingredient to be, or a single process oriented intervention. So probably we might have to realize that we might not be able to take the entire Ayurveda as a product line, because it's an ocean. You can take anything. It's a healthcare system by itself. So you cannot say that we will take the entire Ayurveda to this particular line or this particular direction. It is not necessary.
But in the context of the luxury business combining with Ayurveda, how would you reflect? What are the things that
I'll
you
come
can
back
take
to
forward?
that. Yeah, so I think I agree with agree with everyone in the sense that we need to brand it very well, and we need to identify focal areas, and you had actually identified few of them, like fine dining and probably health resorts, etc. Like probably most of you are aware about the Viva Mayor group in Europe, like the kind of clientele they get. They don't yet have Ayurveda, but they are actually getting into Ayurveda in Russia. Like in the northern part of Russia, they are actually getting into Ayurveda, and there are possibilities that they might extend that into other parts of the world. So, like what I am saying is, it is possible to get Ayurveda to the level of a luxury which any human being alive can be thinking about, because Ayurveda in a way has been written for the kings and queens. Like, so if you look at it, it is not easy for like when you talk about the requirements for treating a patient, it says that the patient should be resourceful. Which medical science would say that? Like which any medical science will not say that. So it says without the resources you cannot treat a patient, because you require many different kinds of things and many different kinds of environment to be put together to get somebody back into health, or make sure that somebody stays healthy. So this idea is already there, and I would agree that like this area of fine dining, which can actually sprout out as a separate different program itself, from which comes out of Ayurveda, which can get into healthcare, health related food industry, or also into like a luxury line. I think Oberoi started that in Mumbai. Was it Oberoi had a very, very expensive dish for which was made out of an Ayurvedic recipe, which I don't know whether they're still keeping that, but it was supposed to be like one of their most expensive dishes, which they ever came out with. That was about 7-8 years before. So what I'm saying is, it is possible, and it is. We need to definitely look at these different directions. And as Nilofer said, we probably one of the areas which her mother has established is, of course, something which we are all trying to follow and just go through. But as she rightly said, there are other avenues, and we should look at that, and then probably try to help that to develop independently. And brand building and communication is the most important key here. Like, otherwise we are not going to go anywhere. But only thing which I wanted to say as a statement is that we cannot take the entire Ayurveda into one single group. So we need to identify certain areas of Ayurveda and take it to luxury, and and then other areas of Ayurveda will work in other areas of like healthcare. So I think that's how it should be moving forward. But bringing in technology would be hugely beneficial, and then trying to bring the latest of technological advancements in healthcare to Ayurveda, or Ayurveda into the latest technological advancements, and bringing that together will have an impact in the current generation and the future generation, because that's easily understandable for them. It speaks to them directly what they want to achieve. And like, if Nilofer is in Japanese industry, you probably might know about the My Bio project by the Japanese government, so it is Okinawa has a village itself where all the entire community lives in condos which are completely out of the world, kind of a technologically with technological what's it called, facilities within that condo. Like, so you go in, you just go up, get up, and go to the bed. It tells you how much of what you had eaten, what you had not eaten, what kind of a weight gain you had, and how your form is, etc., etc. So like, highly advanced technology embedded or impregnated with Ayurvedic knowledge will have a huge advantageous position, other than the other areas which you had talked about. Like, so I think this is a great opportunity, and a work in progress, which we will probably have to do for the next 20 years to have some kind of a outcome. Thank you.
So Parinita, coming to you, running a magazine is quite a big deal, because you've got to first, look at what is happening, discover a lot of new things, and then, go evaluate them, and then put them into some nice words and pictures, and go about marketing it. What has your experience been, and how does that experience reflect on the topic of discussion? That, vis-a-vis your experience so far in the spa industry, and possibly I would want you to reflect also on the fine dining aspect and the resorts aspect of true Ayurveda brought to those two things. And of course, spas seems to just be, just as soon as you mention Ayurveda and spas, people just light up. It is well accepted. That's been the research so far.
So I think that Ayurveda, see, all the other tenets, all the other massages are mostly relaxation massages. But Ayurvedic massages are, besides being relaxation, also therapeutic. So I feel what we should do is, and we in the magazine, we try to do it as far as possible, is to outline the benefits of an Ayurvedic treatment. I won't call it a massage because it's an Ayurvedic treatment, and there are various aspects of Ayurveda. We've been talking about yoga, but yoga is a part of Ayurveda. When you actually go to an Ayurvedic resort or somebody who's offering you Ayurveda, they will give you, of course, the treatment. They will give you some medicines, which I feel the medicines that they give are effective, but we're always scared to use them because we don't know how they have been made. So unless and until those medicines we know they are branded, we are scared to use them. Then Ayurvedic products to use, and like you said, food. Food is a very, very, very important aspect of Ayurveda. So Ayurveda is actually a 360-degree approach. We cannot put Ayurveda as just one part. So in the magazine, we are always been trying, we talk about Ayurvedic dining, and you can make it into fine dining internationally. There's nothing like it. Because let's face it, these days, with the way the situation has been in the last 2 years, people are very interested in health benefits. They want to build immunity. Ayurveda helps you build immunity. They want to have a longer lifestyle. They want to be able to fight health effects, and Ayurveda helps you for that. So I feel, how do we brand Ayurveda as different from a regular massage is to talk about the authenticity, the fact that it is totally natural, the fact that it's going to give you health benefits, it's going to give you immunity, and it's going to be a natural cure for a lot of problems. So that is the way we've always been trying to brand it, not just in India, but even internationally when we do a lot of stuff at the World Travel Mart and ITB, etc. We've done a lot of work with the India Tourism where we've brought out supplements talking about Ayurveda. So those are the kind of things, branding, that we need to do. I keep coming back to branding because that is what will only change the way people perceive Ayurveda. So outlining what Ayurveda can do for you in the long run. Ayurveda is not a short-term, it's definitely not a one-day cure. It is a long-term process. And we have to explain to people what are the benefits they can get out of Ayurveda. And it's not that they have to go to a local hole type of a place to get a treatment. It can be done in luxurious surroundings. You can have great food. You can have products which are beautifully packaged, like Nilofer was just talking about. So all these aspects will make all the difference to the luxury aspect of Ayurveda.
Okay, so Parinita, I'm coming to slowly winding down the entire discussion.
Yeah.
I want to do a quick 10 seconds with each panelist, and my question is it's in two parts and it's very crisp and clear. I just need a quick 10 seconds, kind of an answer from each one, and then we'll come to the closing. So starting with you, Parinita, what is the one product/service of your choice? If you had one choice to take Ayurveda, as a as a as a repository of knowledge and culture from India abroad, what is that one thing that you would take first? Of course, everything will come, but what is the one thing you would take first? And second part, give me three geographies, three countries that you would actually, your marketing team under you would attack with that product or service.
So basically, I personally love the Abhyanga massage, especially the forehand one. It's different from what everybody else does. The oils that they use are very, very therapeutic. So I would say the Abhyanga massage. And because you have to start with the massage. I know there are various other things also. And the countries that I would target is Germany, one, because Germany already understands Ayurveda. The Middle East, because we are there in the Middle East. And maybe UK, Switzerland, some countries in Europe.
Okay. The same question to you, Nilofer. What is one product of choice that you would want to take, as a marketer abroad, and the three countries that you would want to take it to?
I would, as I said, love to take the kajal. I would love to take the 24 karat gold cream. It's exotic. It proves that Ayurveda is into minerals also. Uh, yeah, and the countries that I would go to would definitely be the United Kingdom. Because you start with a large expat clientele, and that is always easy for industry when you have a base clientele in a place.
Yeah.
I would go to Russia, where we have a very large market, and I would definitely try the US, because if you have North America, and if
That's a
you
big
can go
market.
beyond that to Argentina, and you can add that fourth one, it's amazing.
That's new. Argentina is great.
Very,
Abhay,
very well aware clientele, and very beauty conscious.
the same questions to you. What is your product of choice, and what are the three countries you would want to take it to?
So I think in today's day and time, post-pandemic, a heavy dose of immunity booster is something which everyone is looking at. And I think we have no better role model than Prime Minister Modi, who's popular worldwide at 21 days fasting. He survives only on water. So that shows the benefits of Ayurveda as a whole. And if we can create stories around how his immunity, he's 70 years, almost 70 years of age, and by practicing Ayurveda, different streams of Ayurveda for the past 70 odd years, even at this advanced stage, he's able to cross 20 countries, whatever that has to be sort of built up. How many countries in a day, and just on pure water, and 100% fasting kind of a mode, which shows that he's very high on immunity. And today, the world, as I think Parinita said, everyone is looking at immunity. So the greatest and fastest way for acceptance is going to be a set of immunity boosters, which can be created by Dr. Geeta kind of people and branded by people like us. Stories can be created around that. So I think that is where mass scale acceptance can happen, because the costing can be lower and economies of scale can be brought in, and it can be as an accessible luxury kind of a thing, where vitality, whatever you might call it, is required by everyone. So that should be one. In terms of market, I would say, yeah, North America, Canada, South America is one belt as a whole, which should be looked at, and Europe as a second belt. And in the Far East, if we can sort of go into China and ghar mein ghus ke medicine denge, then I think that is the third market that we should try to capture in terms of volume. So that's what I would probably want to focus on.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Krishnan, what would be your opinion on your product of choice and the three markets that you would want to target?
So I would actually try to develop a package for healthy, long life service plus products, and sell it in Silicon Valley, only place.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I love that. I
Good
love
one.
that, doctor.
Good one.
Okay, so I think we had a lovely discussion. In a very short period of time, we've hopped and skipped and jumped so many topics, mainly because we've already had a lot of responses saying that the panel is extremely well chosen. It's very well represented across the 360 degree of discussions. And I think because of the experience that every panelist, all of you here carry, and I'm thankful for each one of you to made it today and participated and added so much of value to the discussion, and a lot of ideas that you've given our initiative, you're going to incorporate. I would want closing comments, starting with Nilofer. What are your closing comments on the discussion? And just if you would just need to sum it up for somebody to, hear the basics in say 30 seconds, how would you put it? A quick summary.
Very informative, very interesting. It was a brainstorming. We went in areas where we all need to extend ourselves to these areas, and I think such brainstormings are very essential to see Ayurveda as well as luxury in any form go ahead as a luxury or in any form.
Thank you. Parinita, how about, your winding comments and whatever
Yeah,
you
so
need to say about?
basically, I think everybody has said the same thing. We need to brand Ayurveda. We need to create a perception that Ayurveda is not something basic. It can be luxury, and build that luxury narrative. So that's what I would say is what we have actually come out with overall.
Okay. Abhay, how about?
Well, it's in similar lines. I would say that we need to begin by educating the world, educating the market, and acceptance will follow. The timing is right because post-pandemic, people are scared. People want sustainable living. People are looking at healthy living. So this is the time when activities should actually begin, and we need to blow our trumpet. And that's where I think the answer to success will lie for Ayurveda, which can be a game changer for our country. That's what I truly believe.
Thank you. Dr. Krishnan, your closing comments on the discussion?
I think finally, as a gist of it, I think it is right branding, right communication, which I take out as the gist of whatever we had been discussing today, which is lacking, and then which needs to be intensely and continuously followed up. It cannot be like a 1-year program, 2-year program run by governments. It has to be the entire community of people or stakeholders who are in it, including our countrymen and of course women who are part of this, to take it as their right and their responsibility to make sure that Ayurveda is utilized by everyone across the globe. I think that's what we should be looking for, but it requires branding, it requires communication, and that's what I understood.
Thank you so much, Nilofar, Parinita, Abhay, and Dr. Krishnan.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful that you came here. As closing comments, I would simply like to say that the key takeaway from this discussion that has come out is that we Indians are guilty of not protecting our own IP. We are not branding it enough. What is very positive that has come out of it is that, of course, we have this repository of knowledge which possibly I think is proprietary. Nobody else has it. We must use it. We must go to a lot of chosen geographies initially. We are looking at a few quick products and services, and I think the government, of course, I feel having done my little exercise for the last 2 years now with the government, mainly with the government. There is a lot of support that I see. The only thing that I, from my experience, can share is that there is a lack of direction and an understanding of how one could actually market this kind of a. I think Ayurveda is a thought and a way of life. I wouldn't, at the end of it, trying to summarize it, I wouldn't cage it in words like products and services or business. But I think it's a thought. So to market the thought, I think we need leaders like yourselves and many more, who can actually work with the government in a larger, broader way. And I think there is enough aggression that I see in terms of the intent to take Ayurveda forward. I see a lot of aggression in every participant that, the zeal, the will to do it is there. But I think we just need to step up, collaborate together, put our forces, synergize, and just shoot. I think we, as a nation, and which I think I borrow from Abhay, you were a little scathing in your attack a little earlier in the discussion, but I agree with you. I think what I would like to say is that the strategy that we had earlier as a nation was aim, shoot. I think that part is over now. We need to borrow from Lee Iacocca and say aim, shoot, 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 shoot. And that's where I end this discussion. Thank you so much, both the ladies, both the gentlemen. It's been very thought-provoking, and it's been a privilege having you, and hopefully so many more to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you
And
for having us.
Thank you for the
Thank
opportunity,
you
Deepak.
for
Thank you.
having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
See
you
Thank you,
so
Jay.
much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.